Welcome into NFL Daily live on YouTube, Facebook, and also on Rumble. And once again, folks, we are doing NFL Daily After Hours on Rumble. I'm going to break down my top 10 plus some bonus QB prospects in this year's draft. So if you haven't already, make sure you're following us on Rumble at rumble.com/NFL Daily. We'll make sure everyone has a chance to click that notification live on YouTube, live on Facebook. First question of the day. Who is more likely to be traded? Type DK for DK Metcalf or BM for Baker Mayfield. Jack, any thoughts on this one? I got to get one more thing organized here. I got to pin my tweet for today's video.
I mean, it's got to be Baker, right?
It should be Baker, but there's also a scenario in which Baker just gets cut, maybe, right?
But of the two, like the Seahawks are saying, we're not going to trade DK, which we saw that with Russ, but we knew that Russ was kind of on the outs. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense that Baker would be the one to go, but we'll see.
Agreed. All right, so get your votes in, DK or BM, and yes, you're allowed to type in BM in the comment section, even though that's inappropriate a little bit. Mostly Baker Mayfield's in there because that Baker contract is terrible. Eddie says DK because no one wants that Baker price tag. Now, the Browns could eat some of that money, and that would, I think, make it a little bit more palatable from that standpoint. But the BMs have it, but it's not unanimous, which makes me feel better about doing it from that standpoint. So get the votes in there, DK or BM. And you can also, of course, vote on Rumble as well as YouTube right now if you haven't already. So keep that coming, DK or BM in the live comment section. Next question. This is the pin poll, by the way, on YouTube today. What will the Niners do with Deebo Samuel, as he wants a big fat new contract? And there are at least some teams out there who are hesitant to pay that big contract cost. What will the Niners do? T for trade, P for pay, W for wait. I am surprised by the early poll results right now. Trade is winning, Jack. Now, part of me wonders if that's non-Niners fans who want to add Deebo Samuel to their roster, in which case, hey, I get it. I think that makes sense. 43% are going T for trade. 39% are going P for pay. I almost hiccuped there. 18% are typing in their wait. And by wait, I mean don't pay, don't trade, try to drag it out, kick the can down the road to an extent. I think they pay him, and I think they should pay him. That makes the most sense as far as I'm concerned. But it's been a weird year. If you'd asked me this, 2 months ago, I was, they're going to pay him, right? No way they trade him. Now I'm like, NFL's gone bonkers. Who knows, right? I see N for never, which I assume means never trade. P from D So Nice, Chef, Melly. Mario says T. Juan Hernandez says trade. Patrick says P. Juan Hernandez says T. Again, I am surprised. I'm very surprised to see the trades winning. I'm curious, and we'll check in on this later on in today's show if that changes as more people click the notification, because I'm paying him. It's Deebo Samuel. I know it's expensive. I get all of that, but he's a key part of your offense. You don't get better by not having Deebo, and the hope of having Trey Lance is to go win a title. That's why you trade up to go get him. So we'll see. Speaking of trades, I want you now to name a player who you think gets traded. Let me know in the comment section. I'll give some shout-outs here while I sip some water. What player do you think ends up getting dealt? Could be realistic or not realistic, because we've seen unrealistic trades go down, right? Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams. Even Carson Wentz got dealt. Well, I didn't think anyone wanted him. Oops. Zeke, starting off with unrealistic there. GBK Hawks is Adam Thielen. Gilmore. Well, Gilmore's a free agent, so no on that one. Baker Mayfield is number one on my list. Lamar Jackson. Jalen Reagor. We'll talk about Jalen Reagor stealing all but in a little bit, so keep an eye on that one. Cameron Jordan. Interesting. James Bradbury. Lamar Jackson. Tyler Lockett. Andre Dillard. Jimmy Garoppolo. There's a lot of office laughing right now. A lot of work not getting done out there. DK Metcalf. Lamar Jackson. Dak. I said you could put unrealistic names in there. I've no one to blame but myself. Patrick Mahomes. Okay, now people hoping which QB they want to get. Okay, that's fair. I get it from that standpoint. So, Nick Foles. I don't know who wants Nick Foles. I don't think anyone does because he's not good. I'm sorry. Dak for Kyler, which is actually something I've talked about in the past. Earl says Niners squired Malik Turner. Please report this. Well, they acquired Malik Turner, which our Niners channel, led by Chase Sr., broke down earlier today. So get that L3 up there if you're able to, Jack. Roquan Smith for DK. You know, of the DK trade packages, I think you got to send more to Seattle. That one's actually intriguing. But as for the Malik Turner signing, yes, my boy Chase Sr. broke that down on our Niners channel, youtube.com/49ers TV. Feel free to go check that one out. Robert Quinn. I like Shay's idea because you're giving up value to get value. Bears doesn't have a huge need at linebacker, but it's a receiver. You need to build around Justin Fields. So I don't hate that one. N'Keal Harry. Yeah, you hate him, right, Jack? Or do you still like N'Keal Harry because he went to your school, Arizona State?
I like him as a person. Get him out of here.
Okay. Now, Jack's also a Patriots fan, so he was very excited when they took N'Keal Harry from his alma mater, and that has not gone the way it was, or was supposed to go. Now, every year there are surprise round one picks, guys that we didn't think were going to go round one or went way earlier even than what we thought they were going to go. So I want you guys right now to name a round one draft sleeper for me in the comments. A player you don't think is going to go in the first, or you would be surprised if he went in the first round, but he could go in that early to mid late part of round one. So let me know your round one sleeper. I see George Pickens. Perfect name, Patrick. There are several receivers I think could fit that mold. Sam Howell, Sky Moore. There we go. Another George Pickens. Kenneth Walker III. Quay Walker. Ooh, Isaiah Likely. That would be a shock to me, but that's why we're doing this whole thing. Kingsley and Barry out of South Carolina. Christian Watson. Someone says, that Subway guy, says your mom. Okay. Christian Watson, Jahan Dotson, Jarrett Stern. I would be confused if he went round one. Frankly, I don't even know if he gets drafted, to be honest, despite his elite production. Christian Harris, Desmond Ridder, Arnold Ebiketie, and I do want to shout out Big Dog Wolf, says the real USC, Kingsley Enigberry. I respect the shade there. Producer interns Jeremy is trying to troll me right now in the comments. Ha, ha, ha. Have fun, Jeremy. Andrew Booth. I think he is not a sleeper. I think he does go round one, but he doesn't talk about it a lot. Trey McBride, if a tight end goes round one, certainly qualifies. I think he's the best one in there. Joe Cool says, imagine Bailey Zappi. So every year, around this time, we get a report from almost always NFL Network of, hey, this crappy day 3 QB, he could go round one. And every year they ended up going in on day 3. I remember Luke Falk got round one hype. I think Zappi could be that guy if there is a guy this year. You might not realize it, but it is almost tax day. So did you do your taxes this year? Y for yes, N for no. Jeff's creepily pointing like this, like he's got red hair or something. It's very strange right now. Y for yes, N for no. Some no's in there. You got about a week, unless I don't know what the exemptions or deadlines are. I meant like I know you have a week, but like if you got an extension for whatever reason. Jordan says no. I'm 19. Sammy says I'm 16. Good. Your parents can handle all that stuff there. Jack, are your taxes good? Have you done them?
I'm not giving you my financial information,
It was
Tom.
a yes or no question. Makes me think no. Are you stealing from the government, Jack?
Absolutely not.
Okay, because you're smiling. So just to be clear.
Don't even try that.
You of course can type in no if you are not old enough to do your own taxes for whatever, or you're claimed by your parents still. So get those votes in. Y for yes, N for no. And if you haven't already, like today's video if you want us to get the real show started. Should I do the 69-bit? I'm going to do the 69-bit. Everyone tell your grandparents I'm doing the 69-bit again. Like the video for us to get to 69 likes. We're only at 43 right now. So if you haven't already, we got 200+ people watching live right now, and we haven't even got to 50 likes. That's sad. That means that's terrible production. That's 25% less than you have liked the video. So help me out. Like this video. Ooh, 59 likes. Jack, we might be able to get that screenshot because we here at Chat Sports, at least I am, got it, 69. Let's ride, baby. Are not mature in any capacity, but we like it that way. I got the screenshot. I got it. We went from 59 to 69, and it was awesome. So here's what's coming up on today's live NFL Daily. Greg, NFL news, rumors, trades. There's a lot of trade buzz out there right now. 2 mailbags, hashtag NFL or Super Chat if you want to jump the line and get those questions on today's show. We'll also run through some draft sleepers, the surprise round 1 picks I could see impressing. And NFL Daily After Hours on Rumble only. So no loop on YouTube or Facebook. We're going to go right over there, Rumble exclusive. I finished my QB scouting, or at least the ones I plan to get to. So we're going to break down my top 10 plus some other guys, my QB prospect rankings on NFL Daily After Hours. That is on Rumble only, so stick around for the entirety of today's show. You guys are watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports. I am your host, Tom Downey. We're going to start with some trade rumors out there, as it's been an NFL season full of wild trades. Could DK Metcalf be the latest of the notable receivers to be dealt? Those trade rumors continue to percolate around the Seahawks star receiver, so much so that ESPN even did a bunch of different trade ideas on DK Metcalf. Some of them were good. Some of them were not in the end. Now, the Seahawks reportedly have been telling teams that they don't want to trade DK Metcalf, that they think he is a key part. Despite that, well, it is what they said about Baker Mayfield, or not from Russell Wilson, for example. Speaking of Baker, this was ESPN's trade idea for the Seahawks to trade away DK Metcalf. Seattle gets Baker Mayfield and a future second-round pick for one of the best young receivers in the NFL. To be clear, ESPN, that is a garbage offer. The Seahawks are getting a future second that in theory would be in the 50s and a quarterback that doesn't have much trade value right now for a guy who allegedly the Jets could offer the 10th overall pick. To be blunt, that offer sucks. It's terrible. Baker's trade value is maybe an early day 3 pick right now, if that with his contract problems. So you're eating a bad contract, getting a QB that maybe is your guy, maybe not, doesn't have much trade value right now, and a future second. That sucks for a player of this caliber in DK Metcalf. That is a hang up the phone, don't bother calling unless you want to be serious conversation. You're basing it on a Baker Mayfield No. Baker, who I was excited about entering this year because he was so good down the stretch in the 2020 campaign, was bad this year. And yes, I know he was banged up, but his footwork has regressed almost every year. He doesn't feel comfortable in the pocket at all. And it's not that the injuries, he's got no confidence. He sits back there, and there are 3 guys open. And we all saw the ESPN screenshot from Monday Night Football, right? 3 guys open, takes a sack. Throw the football, Baker. So it's fine to believe in Baker Mayfield, but that offer is disrespectful to Seattle. And honestly, it's a joke that ESPN said, yeah, we can publish this because it's that bad. Now, of these 2 guys who have been heavily linked in trade rumors, who is more likely to end up being dealt? Type in DK for DK Metcalf or BM for Baker Mayfield. Let me know in the comment section. In fact, I'm going to make this one the pinned comments on today's video. So the ad break comes here. Take advantage of it. Head down there and type DK or BM. Let's talk Deebo Samuel now, because it would appear to me and many others out there that, Deebo Samuel's angling to get a new deal from the 49ers, and understandably so after what he saw Davante Adams and Tyreek Hill get. So much so that he has removed the Niners from his social media, unfollowed them, blah, 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 that whole thing that happens far more frequently now than it ever did in the past. Mike Florio suggested that Deebo Samuel could hold in, meaning with the way the NFL rules are set up right now, you can't really hold out because you get fined so much, but, my hamstring, coach, I can't work right now. I'll be there, but I'm just going to do some stuff on the side, not be involved until I get paid. Jamal Adams did something similar. That's not unusual. Clarence Hill even said that Samuel wants to be the highest paid non-QB in the NFL, and my first reaction was, wow, that's so much money. Holy cow. It's not really, though. You think non-QB, you're thinking, wow, he's going to be so highly paid. And he is. But the highest paid non-QB is a receiver. So really, Deebo wants to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL, which actually makes a lot of sense, given the way the markets typically work. Now, $30 million or more is a lot of money, and I understand the sticker shock behind it. Could you get Deebo to agree to $25 million? And if you're not going to pay him long term, well, then the Niners are facing the same spot Tyreek Hill and Davante Adams were. You'd rather trade the guy and get premium assets than just kind of let him leave. So what do you think the 49ers end up doing with Deebo Samuel? Type T if they're going to trade him away. Type P for they'll just pay him and get that deal done. Or type W for they will instead wait and not rush into any decision right now. NFL Daily is also on Rumble, where we've got free and uncensored content on that video platform. We're trying to grow so the other platforms you guys out there are using continue to dominate the sports video landscape here. They got on Rumble sports, news, politics, tech, business, etc. So there's a lot of stuff you guys can follow over there. And go follow us, rumble.com/NFL Daily. More trade rumors here, this time around the NFL draft. Could the Saints trade up for a QB? Jordan Schultz says the Saints are high on both Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis, and with 2 first-round picks after their Eagles trade, the trade with the Eagles, I should say, that they made, well, they could get aggressive to go get a QB. And this is not the first I've heard of people around the NFL wondering, what are they planning with those picks? Are they going to go receiver, left tackle? Are they going to make another move up to acquire a premium player at one spot? Or do they want to go get a franchise QB in a class that, in general, isn't all that great? Now, Pickett has been viewed as having the higher floor to an extent. He's a pretty accurate football player. He does get a bit angsty under pressure. Skittish is a good term there for that. His production was awesome. When the first read is there, when things are on schedule, it's really good. He's able to make plays out of structure as well. He's generally viewed as a bit of a higher floor prospect, especially compared to Malik Willis, who has all of the upside you could ever want. He's got this cannon for an arm. Despite being undersized, he's a special athlete. The problem is he's not a consistent winner at all right now from within the pocket. The offense did not go over the middle, period, when he dropped back to pass, and his last 4 games were objectively bad from that standpoint. So the logic behind the Saints moving up is not unique to any one report. That's been out there plenty. I don't know what they're planning, and that's what makes it so interesting, because now they've got draft capital. Are they going all in with Winston, or do they want to go find a QB in a not-so-good class? So what do you guys think? Will the Saints trade up for a QB this year? Y for yes, or N for no? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. While you're down there, make sure you're subscribed. The 2022 NFL Draft will be live here on Chat Sports. Every round, every pick, every player actually broken down, unlike some of those other outlets that don't believe in, covering every pick since they're going to interview coaches on day 3 like a bunch of losers. We don't do that at Chat Sports. This will be the best draft coverage you'll find. So if you haven't already, subscribe. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. Jalen Reagor trade rumors to the delight of Philadelphia Eagles fans are here, as there was a report from Jeff Mosher that the Eagles are getting trade calls on Jalen Reagor. Let me tell you what this really means. The Eagles would love to trade Reagor, and they were just taking all calls in the hopes that maybe someone will offer them something. Because to be blunt, and Eagles fans know this, Reagor's bad. He has been a bad football player through 2 years. Drops, I believe more drops than touchdowns. Yikes. And, of course, he will never live down being taken over. The Eagles won't live down taking Reagor over Justin Jefferson. So, in general, when you see the reports of team is getting trade calls on player, what it really means is the team is letting that information leak out in order to get an offer for player. Sometimes it works. Sometimes and more often than not, it doesn't work, and they end up keeping the player or cutting him or whatever, because there's just not a market for a receiver who has not even hit 700 yards through 28 games. That's bad. Now, maybe Reagor does get dealt. Maybe a team says, you know what, we like him coming out of TCU. We'll give you a 7th-round pick for him, give him a trial year. So drop a name or names, if you want to be an overachiever here, in the comments section. Who do you believe ends up getting traded this year in the NFL? We will go back now to the NFL draft. Could Travon Walker go number 1 overall? And imagine asking someone this, when the season immediately ended. Peter Schrager says the Jags could take Walker at number 1 overall, with the argument being Trent Baalke, their GM, who's bad, likes to take the athlete over the productive player, which in this scenario would be Aiden Hutchinson. Now, Walker has been a huge pre-draft riser, and I understand some of the hype around him in general, not as top-heavy class as even, say, last year's. We'll spend some more time on this and why I think it's dumb, but grade the hypothetical pick of Travon Walker number 1 to the Jags. A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know right now in the comments section. Now, we mentioned the productivity, right? And unquestionably, from a film standpoint, Aiden Hutchinson is a better player than Travon Walker. Hutchinson is a round 1 grade. Walker is kind of my round 1, round 2 cheater grade. Tackles, wildly in favor of Hutchinson. Yes, Georgia rotated more. That's fair. But tackles for loss, double. Sacks, double. Pressure rate, double. Hutchinson, against decent competition, of course, at minimum, in the Big Ten, was a way better football player than Travon Walker. So the argument is not based on who they are right now. It's about, these are prospects. We're projecting here, right? And Walker is the type of player NFL teams love from an athletic standpoint. He absolutely is a freak. These are the relative athletic scores. RAS, it factors in the size, what particular drills matter more for different positions. So when you're 6'5", 272, and you run a 4'5", 140, and have a 35.5-inch vertical jump, and you're moving like a damn receiver at 272, yes, you are a freak athlete with 35.5-inch arms. The issue is he wasn't that productive on the field, but the traits are tantalizing. Here's my counter argument. Hutchinson is not a stiff. He is a great athlete as well. His 3-cone was just as good as Travon Walker's. Now, he's not as big, 260, and his arms are shorter, but Hutchinson is also a great athlete. So don't let anyone tell you Hutchinson isn't a good one. And that is why if I were Jacksonville, frankly, I'd have more interest in Kayvon Thibodeau over Travon Walker, but taking Walker over Hutchinson, yeah, I don't like that idea at all. We'll spend plenty of time in the coming days with the draft almost around the corner. We'll talk about trades and free agency here at Chat Sports too. So what's better? Which DTF do you like more? D for draft, T for trade. Yeah, I did DTF, Jack. Of course I did. Why are you surprised? I do that every time this pops up. Every time. I don't know why that surprised you. So what do you guys prefer? D, T, or F? Let me know in the comments section. People are just typing in overrated for various players. It's fair. Brokov says D. That's the route I go as well. Shelly says D. Michael says D. Stilling Alba says all, which is true. You got to pick one, though. I'm going to make you guys make a decision here. I see F from Big Dog Wolf. A lot of, it's like 90% D's for draft. Trades are the best in the NBA and I think baseball, but the NFL doesn't have the same type of trades, so it's not as much fun. Free agency works really well there. Sam likes free agency. I don't know why, but okay, Sam, that's fine. Craigery says, I like D, I emoji. There you go. Let's see. Wes King is spamming his D in there. Junior says D. Dusty says no, or says D. I see DK, which I think is an older one, Duke. Make sure you click live so you're not behind. Let's see. D from Quintavion Jefferson. Chris Ayers says F. People are confused right now with Sam Brown in there. AT says click the like button. Thank you. Make sure you guys have liked the video. It is mailbag time here coming up, and there are 2 ways to get on the mailbag, right? Use hashtag NFL in the comments section. That'll get you in the queue for producer Jack to pick your question, but he does have to pick it. So, it's a little bit dicey there. If you want to guarantee to get on the show, super chat. Jump the line, be the MVP of today's show by super chatting here. And Producer Jack wants me to let you guys know, or you can say nice things about Producer Jack. And I promise you guys, I won't flip those words into mean things about Producer Jack on the mailbag today. Now, after Mailbag and another Mailbag and our segment of Draft Sleepers, NFL Daily After Hours will be on Rumble quarterback prospect rankings. I got my top 10 plus some other guys I studied that we'll break down there. Rumble.com/NFL Daily. The link to that live stream, which of course we're filming on Rumble as well as YouTube and Facebook right now, it's in the comment section. It'll be in the live description as well. So make sure at the end of today's show you jump over to Rumble for our quarterback prospect rankings. It's mailbag time here at Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey, answering all of your questions on and around the NFL as part of our live show here on Monday. First up from Cody Raines, Saints trade for Baker Mayfield, trade up for Jermaine Johnson, take Chris Olave, then Kyren Williams. Okay, so the Saints are wheeling and dealing here. If you're out on Winston, which I'm not sure they are, maybe the Browns eat some money, so we'll allow that one there. Baker, Winston, QB competition, that's fun. Maybe you have your franchise guy there if you're lucky. Trade up for Jermaine Johnson. Okay, that's a little aggressive. I don't know if you really need to spend another first-round pick on an edge, because he spent 3 of those guys, for including Cam Jordan, who's played like one, but Peyton Turner and Marcus Davenport there. Take Chris Olave. I'm sold there, and I love Kyren Williams, late day 2, more likely early day 3. Left tackle's my only concern on that move, but those are some big-time splashes there, Cody. From Draco Pimpin. Nice. What are your top draft picks for the Niners post-Jimmy trade? If you mean like positions of need or like what happens if they can trade Jimmy G and free up some cap space, I think you're looking – I don't hate the idea of adding a receiver. I doubt that's the route they'd go. I feel like they're going to look at other areas of focal point. Safety, even after adding George Odom, jumps out to me. Edge rusher help. And if you're not sold on Daniel Brunskill or Aaron Banks long-term, that makes sense. I wouldn't mind some more defensive line help. You've invested in corner. The Niners with no first-round pick, you're not going to get much back for Jimmy G at this point. I think it's almost the cap savings at that point. From Alex Lancaster. Hey, Tom, when does the punt god Matt Ariza go in the draft? Who takes him? Team that needs a punter. I'll be honest, when I do my team needs list, I don't do punters or special teams because I don't care. They'll be able to figure it out. I'm more focused on your important positions. But I could see him going top 100. Teams are going to view him as a weapon with how strong his leg is. Other teams have some concerns about the finesse part of it. The ability to pin it into the 20, just kind of booms it, which has got just a cannon of a leg. He'll go early. He will go really early. He'll probably be a really good football player, and there will also be better players who go after him who we continue to meme, a la, the pick of Brian Anger's a good punter for Russell Wilson, and that was a disaster. From Tom Downey, okay. Saquon Barkley to the Bills. Who says no? Maybe it's the Bills. Saquon's in a weird spot where the Giants very clearly are rebuilding. They are taking their time to reset that, or the Giants are, to rebuild that defense, or offense and defense. It's a slow process. And Barkley, previous regime took him. He's been banged up. They'd probably love to trade him away. Who wants that $7.22 million contract? Maybe it is Buffalo. Maybe they could restructure it a little bit to be creative there. The contract is a problem, I think, for teams because the NFL's caught up and said, you know what? Premium contracts and big draft picks for backs, it's not a great investment relative to other positions. So I could see Saquon getting dealt. I just don't know if it's for that much in the end. What do you guys think? Will the Giants trade away Saquon Barkley? Type in Y for yes, they will, or type in N for no, they will not. Let me know what you guys predict happens in the comment section. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So it's Y for yes, N for no. Chris Ayers, what do you want to see your Cowboys do in the first round? In an ideal world, you trade down, take one of those top 5 receivers or one of those top 3 interior offensive linemen. No guarantee that happens. I think they're looking guard and receiver in round 1 this year. Jason Joyner to the Seahawks. Take Sauce Gardner at 9 and Desmond Ridder if he falls to the second round. You still need offensive line help, But I would love Gardner at 9. That fills a big time. He's a good scheme fit. I will not complain in any capacity on that front. Ritter in round 2, if you think he can be your guy, sure. I would wonder if the Seahawks' best path is to not go QB at all this year. But I've got a second-round grade on Ritter. So, yeah, I'd be fine with that one. From 30 racks, what receiver can the Eagles get in the second round if they go all defense in the first? Great question. Does a guy like a George Pickens, a Sky Moore, maybe a Christian Watson fall to you in the second? I'm not sure if he does. One of those 3 guys. Guys like Jalen Tolbert from South Alabama and Bama's John Mechie would also be quality fits for Philadelphia in round 2. It's a solid receiver class. You can find guys scattered throughout this year. Speaking of the draft, well, the draft hats are available from our friends over at Fanatics, the official ones that your favorite team's player will be wearing this year at chatsports.com/NFL draft hat. So check the comment section and that description. The link is in there for you guys for all 32 teams' draft caps. Some of them are great. I like the Giants one. The Raiders one, it's white on white. Not as good. Minnesota looks great. There's a lot of different styles. That's not all the flat brim. They've got the rounded, the adjustables, etc. So check it out. Chatsports.com/NFL draft hat. From GBK Hawk, Seahawks traded a 2023 second-round pick for Adam Thielen. Let me double-check his contract here. I would be surprised if Seattle did that because you've got Adam Thielen, who's fairly highly paid. DK Metcalf wants a big fat new contract, and you're trying to trade, or you got Tyler Lockett. It's a lot. The Vikings, I believe, this year restructured Adam Thielen. If they trade him right now, it's an extra $8 million in salary cap charge. After the draft, they save $5 million. So I think the Vikings say no because Thielen's a really good football player, and you typically don't trade those guys away, even though he is on the wrong side of 30. CJ DeYoung III. Hey, Tom. How's the little one? She's doing great. I think she said her first word this morning. I'm not sure, but I walked up to her and like her little little weird phrases and like squeals and whatnot sounded a lot like hi. So I wonder if she said hi. I'm not sure yet, but she's doing great. Please explain how some teams, the Rams, feel like there's no cap, other teams don't. I don't get it because teams like the Rams are pushing that money into the future. They are less worried about their salary cap hits right now, and they are willing 4 or 5 years from now to eat more money. They have more dead money down there than other NFL teams. The difference is the cap's higher. So those teams aggressively spend their salary cap and say, yeah, we'll pay you later on the cap. Eventually that bill does come due, but a $5 bill right now, when you have $10 in your bank account, seems like a lot. A $5 bill when you have $20 isn't as bad. And that's the philosophy the Rams take as opposed to the teams like the Cowboys saying, we don't want to have any debt. The Rams are aware of what the debt interest rates are, and it pays off for them in the end. You don't have to go full Rams, but I think more teams should be a bit more aggressive. From, oh my God, Chandler Bing style. Will the Eagles trade away Andre? I hope that's what you're hoping I was going to do there, Jack. I don't know, though. Will the Eagles trade away Andre Dillard? I'm a bit surprised he hasn't been dealt yet because he's not their long-term left tackle. That's Jordan Mailata. And I think there are teams that need a starting left tackle. So some teams I think could make some sense, right? Carolina. Cam Irving ain't it. He's just not good. The Steelers, why don't you upgrade over Dan Moore? The Colts, is Matt Pryor your guy or is he a guard? I wonder if he's a guard more so than a left tackle. But Dillard and the Eagles have a good relationship to an extent, right? The Saints, if you don't go tackle round 1, trade a day 2 pick for Dillard. Make him your new starter. And Seattle has like 0 tackles on the roster that have proven themselves as good. They make a lot of sense for Andre Dillard. So what I want you guys to do right now is name a player who you think ends up getting traded. Head down to the comment section and let me know what player or players, if you want to be an overachiever, you think ends up getting dealt. From Michael, DK replacements if he gets traded internally. You're banking on Dwayne Haskins. Beyond that, it's got to be draft, right? Whatever pick you get for DK, let's just say it's the Jets pick, number 10, right? You're probably going receiver. So that's a Garrett Wilson, a Jameson Williams, a Drake London, Chris Olave, Traylon Burks, one of those guys, you spend a premium pick on a receiver to replace the one you just got. So that's why it doesn't make a lot of sense for Seattle, as far as I'm concerned. From James Heinen, then we'll get to Christopher Griffin's super chat here. If you were the GM of the Giants, what would your next 3 moves be? Side note, R.I.P. Haskins. Agree there, James. Next 3 moves, probably my next 3 draft picks, and maybe trade away James Bradbury if I could find him. So ideally, either Evan Neal, Ika Mekwonu are there at number 5. I would then take either Sauce Gardner or Kyle Hamilton, whoever is there in round 2. And frankly, if I go corner, I'm going safety, or not round 2, at number 7. In round 2, I'm going the opposite position I went earlier. So it could be a cornerback, could be a safety that's on the board for me in round 2. I'd go the inverse of Hamilton or Sauce Gardner in that second round. Christopher Griffin, what do you think about Pitt trading Johnson and a late rounder to move up in the draft to get a blue chip player at offensive line, defensive line, or corner? I do like the creativity because I would assume you're also packaging your first round pick here because no one's giving up a top 15 pick for Deontay Johnson. But assuming you're packaging Johnson and your first to get way up there, I don't hate it. Defensive line, I don't think you need one there really, Pittsburgh. So offensive tackle, if you get Evan Neal or Ika Mekwonu, I'm intrigued. Sauce Gardner, Derek Stingley, I'm intrigued. My biggest concern here is this. Receiver now becomes a glaring need for you. And I don't like trading away assets to improve one spot only to open up and need another one unless you're not going to pay Johnson. In that case, I'm more open to it. We will be live for the entire 2022 NFL Draft. In the words of Mitchell Renz, we'll be live for like 50 hours. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe for every single pick, grades each night, undrafted free agent coverage the day after. We've got you guys covered here at Chat Sports. Sterling Alba. Could the Eagles draft Daniel Falele, turn him into the future right tackle after Lane Johnson retires? What an O-line that could be. Falele's not Jordan Mailata athletically, and that should be a red flag to teams. How long do you think Lane plays? If he's playing 2 or 3 years, which I think is what's probably going to happen, I don't want to spend a top 75 pick on a guy who in theory never plays. That's not a route I want to go. I like what you're going for there, but I wonder if Lane's going to play too long to make it worthwhile. Jackson Flaxon, how about a Baker Mayfield trade to the Falcons or Seahawks? 2 decent names in there. The Falcons have so much cap issues that I think that's a problem from their standpoint. Baker to Seattle, if he gets traded, it makes the most sense, right? Like they've got Drew Lock. They can afford him. He and the Panthers probably don't want to work together. I mean, Baker. So I could see it. I think if he gets cut or Browns will eat a bunch of his money, there's a lot more interest. But Baker wants to be a starter, and the pool for those guys, it's thin from that standpoint. Other teams might just want to draft a QB early and gamble on that front. So what do you guys think? Where will Baker Mayfield play in 2022? Is it Cleveland? Somewhere else? What is it? Let me know in the comments section. From Alex, first pick this year, second next year enough for Aaron Donald? To be blunt, no, it's not. Aaron Donald is one of the best football players, if not the best football player in the NFL. And I know he's 30 years old. He's on the wrong side. I just watched Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams go for more than that. There's no way the Rams would accept a first and a second for Aaron Donald. Their asking price would be insanely high, and it's honestly not close to enough. Donald's not getting traded. That makes no sense for the Rams whatsoever. Speaking of NFC West trade rumors, as expected, Jack, the pin poll of today's video has flipped. When we first started, trade was winning with like 43%. Well, now the votes are pay, 49% is what the Niners will end up doing with Deebo Samuel. 32% say trade, and 19% say wait for at least this year. So get your votes in the live poll and the comments section here. What will the Niners do with Deebo Samuel? T for trade, P for pay, or W for wait. Get those votes in for me in the comments section. Jets fan says he doesn't want Deebo. Well, your team does. So the Jets kind of started all this stuff with Deebo and with DK to kind of, maybe it was their agents getting leverage for their clients. Who knows there. So get those votes in. Excuse me. T for trade, P for pay, W for wait. Coming up next, we're going to do my draft sleepers for round 1, then a mailbag, and after that, we're doing NFL Daily After Hours on Rumble. I've got my quarterback prospect rankings done. No more waffling on just what grade I'm going to give these guys. I've finalized it. We'll break that down. So head over to Rumble, rumble.com/NFL Daily. Check the live comment section in the description. That rumble.com NFL Daily link is in there, and we'll put the link to the actual show. It's going on right now. Follow us, because once we wrap up here on YouTube, we're going to jump over there to do exclusively to start the quarterback prospect rankings. Tom Downey here for Chat Sports. Take a look at some 2022 NFL draft sleepers. Guys who could surprise and sneak into round 1. Happens every single year. There's a player or 2 or 3 or 4 who stun and sneak in to round 1. And we're starting with the guy that big media screwed me on, Quay Walker. I built this video like 2 weeks ago, and then NFL Network mentioned this, and I kind of lost some of my buzz there. But Quay Walker has been getting round 1 buzz, and I would not be surprised if he got drafted over Nakobe Dean, who I think is a better football player. But Quay Walker, he's got better measurables, almost 6'4", 241, really great athletic testing. I did not see a big play guy on film. He wasn't a big-time, like, taking the football away, only 3 career pass breakups, but he's solid in coverage. So I think top 40 is where he ends up going. Do not be surprised if he goes round 1 this year. Travis Jones, the UConn, about UConn here, defensive tackle next up. Now, had it not been for Jordan Davis, I think we would be talking a lot more about Travis Jones, because he was awesome at the Combine. Another one of these more one-technique nose guard style guys, opted out of 2020, comes in 2021, plays well. Look at this testing. 6'4" and change, 325, a 4.9 240. It is terrifying to see a 325-pound man running a sub 5-second 40-yard dash. Had a great broad as well. Again, this is the relative athletic scores. 4.92 for a 225-pound guy, it's not very good. For a 325-pound guy, that is terrifying. Great arm length, by the way, 34 1/4 inches there. His production was better than Jordan Davis's. Now, don't get me wrong, I have Jordan Davis higher because better athlete. There was more rotation at Georgia, but Jones had a better pressure rate, more tackles for loss, and more sacks at UConn. Of course, he's not playing the same level of competition. I was surprised to see how well he tested at the Combine, but that is a very big deal for the NFL draft. And teams like big guys who move well, it'd be a surprise while we're doing sleepers and surprises here. I could see Jones being a nice little surprise late round 1 pick. I would be very surprised if he didn't go top 50. So who is your round 1 NFL draft sleeper? What player or players, if you're feeling aggressive today, do you think could surprise you and sneak into the back end of round 1? I'm going to make this question the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and drop a name for me. A lot of receivers we go with here, George Pickens included, but I'm going to go with Sky Moore. I think there could be a run on wide receivers. The big 5 we've talked about, Jahan Dotson and maybe Sky Moore too. The production in film was awesome. The very popular comp, and it's a good one, that's why it's so popular, is Golden Tate. He needs to get better against press, and his route running is a bit rough, but his releases off the line of scrimmage actually really impressive. Good hands, great production after the catch. Isn't the biggest guy. I might be a slot guy to begin, but I think Sky Moore's going to have a very long and successful NFL career. And the name I didn't really include here was Christian Watson. This one is a bit too obvious. A lot of mock drafts have him in round 1 because he's big and he's fast. And NFL teams tend to love those guys, even though I've got Sky Moore ahead of Christian Watson on my own rankings because I think Moore's a better player right now. Yeah, Watson's got the height, weight, speed. He's got drop issues and frankly is not a polished player right now. But I get it. The upside is incredible if he ends up hitting. Now, we all know Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett are going to go round 1. Will there be a third or fourth QB who ends up going in the first round? Some recent buzz, or I should say reemergence of buzz, for Desmond Ridder. That certainly makes sense from that standpoint. He's had some round 1 hype. I like him quite a bit. Sam Howell was a preseason round 1 pick, but he wasn't as good this year. Matt Corral has been, injuries are a factor. He's just been kind of quiet in terms of round 1 hype. There was some brief Carson Strong stuff, but I don't think the medicals checked out very well. So I could see one of these QBs, probably one of those first 3 guys more so than Strong, going in round 1, but it's just not a great class here. So what do you guys think? I want to set the over-under 2.5 QBs taken in round 1. Willis, Pickett, and will there be a third? Type O for over, a.k.a. more than 2.5 QBs, or type in U for under. There will only be those 2 QBs taken in round 1. Let's talk Tyler Smith, and a lot of these guys fall in the same bucket, right? Traits, but. And Tyler Smith has awesome traits. He's almost 6'5", 324, long arms, really great athletic ability. If he hits, if he develops, he could be a top-tier left tackle. And he's only just now turning 21. The problem is his technique, to be blunt, sucks. He does not move his feet. He just hugs guys. At times, he defaults to, I'm going to hug and hold you. He got penalized like 12 times at college football. They don't throw holding flags that often in the college football game. So that is a huge red flag. You almost have to sit him for a year and rebuild him. If he hits, franchise left tackle. Or he's Greg Robinson minus the off-the-field stuff. So a lot of boom or bust here. But given how much teams need offensive tackles, he could go early this year. The NFL draft has announced their hats, the NFL has, for this year's draft, right? A lot of interesting styles in recent years, and some of these hats are awesome. Some of them are not, but they're going to be what your first-round pick for whatever team you cheer for, what they're going to wear. So go get one today. Chatsports.com/NFL draft. Hit the blackout. Looks great. The red on blue, it works. The white on white, I'm not so sold on that one. There's a lot of different styles. They've got the flat brim, the rounded, the adjustable, the snapback. They've got a lot of styles out there. So check them out. Chatsports.com/NFL draft hat. That link will be in the comment section and in the description. You can always count on one edge rusher going in late round 1, at least the surprise guy. 3 names to watch here who've had some semblance to an extent of quiet round 1 hype. Logan Hall from Houston, Arnold Ebiketie from Penn State, and Boye Mafe from Minnesota. Now, Hall's got better tackle for loss production. He's kind of a tweener of a defensive end versus defensive tackle. His teammate Peyton Turner went in round 1 last year, which I think is important to take note of, that NFL teams are willing to take those Houston Cougars in round 1. Arnold Ebiketie is actually my favorite one of the grouping here because I think he's just a better football player. He tested really well. Boye Mafe is your upside pick. Not the best production, but he is a freak athlete from that perspective. So keep an eye on those 3 names. Think of it as almost your David Ajabo replacement, given the opening there at the back end of round 1 with his unfortunate injury. Now, you'll know the surprise round 1 picks when we know them, because as soon as the pick comes in and we get it, we go to it. Past years, we've been at points 3 picks ahead of the major networks because we'll tip them. We don't need to wait. So if you haven't already, subscribe. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV will be live for the entire 2022 NFL Draft. Next up is Kyler Gordon, the other Washington corner. Pre-combine, I had mentioned him as this guy could wow at the combine, be a surprise round 1 pick, and then would sneak in. Now, at the combine, he only ran the 40-yard dash. 4.52, we're like, wow, that is disappointing. We wanted more. And then he didn't do any of his other stuff. Well, at this pro day, There was the athletic testing we thought there was going to be. Awesome vert, awesome broad, awesome agilities, 9.69 out of 10. That is very nice. I like McDuffie more. I've got other corners above Kyler Gordon because I think he's more athlete and upside than he is proven reliable, although he did fare pretty well on a Huskies team that, well, the offense sucked and teams didn't have to throw it that much on them. But I got him over second, third round grade on him. Teams love athletic ability. Keep an eye on Gordon being a shocker in round 1. How about Lewis Cine, the Georgia safety, as safety 2 this year over Dax Hill? I've got Hill higher, but Cine can play free safety, did it more than Hill did this past year at Michigan, and to almost a reckless extent is willing and able to throw his body around. His testing at the combine, a common theme today, really good athletic testing. He can play in the box because he's a good tackler, is willing to hit. I think his instincts were almost better than his athletic testing, so that shows you how high I think of him there. I don't like him that much in man-to-man. I like him better in zone coverage. If you want that single high free safety, this is your type of prospect. So which side of the ball do you think ends up with more round 1 picks? Always a pretty close race, unsurprisingly. Type in O for offense and D for defense. Here's my really shocking one. And I would be very surprised, but I could see it. Cam Jurgens. You're going, who the hell is that guy, Tom? Exactly. The center from Nebraska, I think, is a poor man's Tyler Linderbaum from a play style standpoint. They're both a bit undersized. They both don't have the best athletic testing, all that kind of stuff. But he has longer arms and wowed at the combine. I will say this. I thought that the play of Cameron Jurgens was not great. I think it would be a reach if he went in round 1. But I saw Daniel Jeremiah mention it go earlier than expected. I think the NFL is higher on Cam Jurgens than us media people are. So I would be surprised. That's the point of this, though. What if Linderbaum and his tiny arms isn't the first center off the board? I would rip it. And I'll be live. We'll be live here at Chat Sports for this year's NFL Draft. Every single day, every single pick, we've got you guys covered. So if you haven't already, subscribe. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. Tax day is a week away. Did you do your taxes? What's up, Jack?
I have been told by my legal team
Okay.
that I can say, yes, I have done my taxes.
Yeah, Jack, there's nothing illegal about saying that. So did you ask your parents? Is that why?
No.
Okay. Just making sure. But you did do that.
Yes.
Good job, Jack. Did you guys do it? If you have to do taxes. I know not everyone who watches this show is of age. So let me know. Y for yes, N for no. Pat Rick wants the Rumble. We'll get that link in there for you, Pat. Stay tuned. Now, we're going to have mailbags. A mailbag coming up here momentarily. 2 ways to get on the show. Number 1, use hashtag NFL. That will get you in the queue for Producer Jack to find your question and then bring it up on screen. Now, you are at the mercy of Producer Jack picking your particular question. So you might not get it pulled up there. But if you super chat like CJ DeYoung III did, we'll make sure to get you on the show. So those are your 2 paths. Number 1, use hashtag NFL or super chat to get on. Now, after this mailbag wraps up, we will be live on Rumble only for my quarterback prospect rankings. I've got 10 ranked, plus some other guys who I either just didn't like at all, or, I think I just haven't gotten to and don't plan to get to because I haven't heard good things about them. So head over there, rumble.com/NFL Daily. Takes you right to the follow, subscribe page for Rumble, and then we're live. We'll get the links to that and the actual show in the comment section right now. This is NFL Daily by Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey with Mailbag. We answer all of your questions here at Chat Sports, whatever you have on the NFL. First up from CJ DeYoung III. Why aren't the Cowboys spending the money to win 26 years? Because they think the best path to winning is to be smart with your books and not be over-aggressive. They want to always be in a position to contend, be contenders, be a playoff team or so each year, and then don't go overboard with one season. Not the route I would go, but I think that could be a path that the Cowboys, I know that's the path the Cowboys are, pursuing. Brokaw, what do you think of my Cowboys speed draft? Troy Anderson, Marcus Jones, spend all of your fifth line. And I assume you mean like your day 3 picks, like Anderson and Jones are more day 3 guys. I like Anderson. I would be happy with him in the 3rd round. Marcus Jones, I love. Does not fit the Cowboys measurables, but I love him. He's an awesome football player. All fifths on the lineman. Can't complain too much there either, my friend. From Elio, do you see another Bama player drafted by Bill Belichick? If so, who? Receiver, maybe? I don't think Jameson Williams gets to you, in all honesty. I love that pick, though. John Mechie in the 2nd? Maybe? I doubt they go running back. They don't really need one of those right now. They're kind of going to the defensive line. How about Christian Harris at linebacker? Not their typical mold, but I could see that being a fit for them, too. Joe Cool 2.0. What is your opinion on Carson Strong? Where and when should he be drafted? By the way, glad to be back here. Yeah, well, obviously we'll go more in depth on Strong in my quarterback prospect rankings. As a pure passer, pure pocket passer, there's some things like good arm, pretty good accuracy. The medical is a huge red flag, and I don't think he's interviewed that well. I think that's a big reason why you haven't heard round 1 buzz for him. Plus, he's not mobile. So I got a 4th round grade on him. It's about where I think he should go. From Crafty Corner, would you make Lamar Jackson the highest paid QB in the NFL? Oh, that's a good question, isn't it? Now, in general, if you have a top 5, top 10 QB, that guy tends to be the highest paid QB in the NFL. That's just how things typically tend to go. The problem is, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers type of money. That's a lot to pay. $50 million? No. The $46 million contract for Deshaun Watson, that might be more in line with what Lamar eventually wants once he decides to talk with the team about an extension. If the Ravens don't do it, as long as Lamar is healthy, somebody would. And that's the red flag there. So what do you guys think? Would you pay Lamar Jackson? Let's say it's the $46 million a year offer that the Browns gave to Deshaun Watson. Would you pay that? Y for yes or N for no? From Doom, fantasy this year, running back or wide receiver first, who's your number 1 pick? I always go running back early if I have a top 3 pick. Probably got to go Jonathan Taylor, right? If not him, probably Derrick Henry. If you're going receiver, do you double dip with Cooper Kupp? And maybe Jamar Chase could call there, Justin Jefferson, but I'm going running back. I'm going Jonathan Taylor round 1 at number 1. From just Jessica Lampert, the Giants. What should the Giants do rest of offseason, including draft? I kind of think they're done spending. I'm adding to my trenches at offensive line and edge rusher. I'm looking for a corner. I'm looking for a safety. And honestly, I might trade down and get some more future draft picks because I might need them next year if Daniel Jones is not my guy. Junior Estrada. Patriots should draft offense lineman like Zion Johnson. So when I do my mock drafts and Jack's with me, I tend to put like a not actual pick in to start to mess with him, and also to have him be aware of, hey, buddy, they could actually do this. And Zion Johnson was my fake pick last time. I would not be surprised after trading away Shaq Mason for some reason if the Patriots go offensive lineman in round 1. Zion Johnson could be that guy. I'm thinking corner, receiver, linebacker, or offensive guards where they're going to spend most of their premium picks early on. NFL Daily is also on Rumble. Exclusive content like our Rumble After Hours segments up there first at rumble.com/NFL Daily. That video platform, by the way, also allows you to play your videos kind of background, audio only, unlike YouTube. If if you go away from the app and it doesn't work quite well there. So Rumble is actually super useful from that standpoint. So check it out today. Rumble.com/NFL Daily. From Cameron Christie, so the Falcons should have to get either Kayvon Thibodeau or Travon Walker. Let's say one of those guys starts to slide. I could see it. I also think this. There's a non-zero chance that one of those guys is just there for you. At number 8, I think Thibodeau might be more likely. So if you really want the edge, sure. I'll say this, though, for the Falcons. I don't know if you can afford to give up draft capital. You need all those picks. I would be more inclined to trade down than would be to say trade up. Brianna Matthews, what can the Panthers trade back to in order to get a second-round pick? Okay, let me get the trade value chart pulled up here, the updated one. Carolina, you're looking for even to say a mid to late second-round pick. You move down to 13, 12, somewhere in that range gets you that extra second-round pick. It's a little tricky from like the teams that match, so I'm trying to find a particular trade partner here. Falcons is probably too much. Oh, it's not great value overall here. Houston, they don't have the ideal late-round pick, so you move down to 13 and 14. That gets you the right value. Finding the right trade partner, though, is the tricky business. You would have to move way down for a team that matches better. So you sort of see why it's dicey to make that work out in the end. You could get a third pretty easily if you move down a couple spots, though, in round 1. NFL news, rumors, coverage of trade, free agency, and, of course, the NFL draft is available here at Chat Sports. So if you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. Sammy Silver, could Charles Cross fall to the Saints at 16, and then could they take Olave at 19? I think it's in the dream draft for New Orleans. I think Cross should go top 13. Doesn't mean he will. If maybe Penning goes before him and Cross slides. If so, I love his fit in New Orleans at 16. That is a home run pick there. Olave is there at 19. You got a day one starter at left tackle and at receiver. You nailed it from that standpoint. All right, GBK Hawk, trade number 9, a future 4th, to the Ravens for 14 and 45 and a 6. So let me double check the math here. So you're getting 14, and then you're moving up with 9 for 45. Just double checking my math here on the fly. Let's see. That's a little high. You're getting a lot there to move up. I would wonder if what does this one work out with here? I'm just checking my math. You know what works pretty damn well, actually, is just 14 and a second to move to 9. I think you're getting too much back from the Ravens, but hypothetically, if it happens, Linderbaum, Ojabo, McCreary, and Matt Corral. Okay. Those are 4 guys I like. I don't love Corral, but, Ojabo's worthwhile. Linderbaum's a stud. So if you could make that happen, I am all for it, my friend. From Takisi, not sure how to pronounce that one, so sorry if I got it wrong, my friend. Is Tyrann Mathieu coming to Philadelphia? Maybe. I kind of think he's going to wait until after the draft. Eagles, Saints, Steelers have all been linked to the Honey Badger. With the draft like 2 weeks away, kind of feels like he might just wait and see what the market looks like at that point. Todd Duche. Why is J.C. Treader unsigned, and who could get him? I don't know. It's a great question. I wonder if him being the NFLPA president is a problem for teams. Not supposed to be, but could be. He's older, too. I thought he played well there for the Browns. And I think there are a lot of teams that could use J.C. Treader, right? The Miami Dolphins. I know Will Scott wants that real bad. The Minnesota Vikings. Garrett Bradbury's been kind of poor. The Denver Broncos. I saw that one linked by PFF. I don't quite get the love, but I'll mention it. The Cowboys, upgrade over Tyler Biadasz. The Ravens, if you don't want Patrick McCarry there at center. The Raiders, I don't trust Andre James. The Giants, that'd be a huge pick for them. Sorry, John Feliciano, you're not that good. And I know Seattle also signed, drawing a blank on Austin Blythe, but I think he's way better. So there should be a lot of teams interested in J.C. Treader. Typically, when this thing happens, when there's not much buzz on a good football player, that means the NFL knows something more than what we know. From Brianna Matthews, who should the Panthers get if they don't take a QB? Left tackle, so Ika Mekwonu, Evan Neal, Trevor Penning, or Charles Cross. They need a left tackle, so if you don't go QB, I'm going that route. Dallas fan, what should the Cowboys do with their picks? Take the good players, right? I'm looking offensive guard, receiver, edge rusher, tight end, more trench play help, I think is the general path that they're going to go. They want to take BPA, but they've got such a big need at guard and receiver, they might be forced into going that route earlier even if there are better players available. Emilio McKnight, what are the Saints doing? It's a good question. Are they adding draft assets to go get a QB earlier, which I don't love on that standpoint? Or are they trying to build around Winston and take a left tackle and a receiver in round one? I might prefer the latter with this year's class. From Doug Dimmadome, over of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, could Desmond Ridder really go round one? Maybe. I know there's been some buzz around that, but we talked about Ridder as a possible round one pick before, so it's not a huge shock, at least to me. Some teams I think could make some sense. Maybe the Saints want him. Maybe that's why they got the extra first rounder. Maybe. Steelers have been linked heavily to QBs. I think like Wilson Pickett more, though. Titans could be your shocker round one QB pick. And then you move on from Tannehill next year. The Lions at 32. Please don't take QB number 2. And Seattle's more of a round 2, but maybe they fall in love with a Ridder. And you trade back in around when to get that 5th-year option. Who do you think will draft Desmond? That is the Cincinnati Bearcats QB. I always forget to mention the team position, so I'm sorry about that one there. Who will draft Ridder? Let me know in the comments section. We'll do the super chat here in a minute, but first, head over to Rumble for an exclusive draft segment. We've got quarterback prospect rankings, rumble.com/NFL Daily. The link to that, the actual stream version, will be in the comments section and in the description. So go over there, rumble.com/NFL Daily. From the Pass Master, a super chat at the buzzer, my friend. Tom, for the Colts sign Julio Jones. Great work as always, Chat Sports. Cheers, my friend. I think it makes sense. I kind of think Julio's washed, but we know he works well with Matt Ryan. The Colts have a need at wide receiver. So from that standpoint, I think it makes a lot of sense for Julio Jones and Indy in what is probably the back nine or final stretch of Julio's career. Before we go to Rumble only, what will the Niners do with Deebo Samuel? Type in T for trade, type in P for pay, or type in W for wait. Get those votes in. I'm putting in the link to the live stream on Rumble in the comment section right now. So get over there. We're going to end this on Facebook, end this on... I knocked the mic a little bit there. There we go. Sorry, cut out for a second there. There we go. Head over to Rumble. I'm putting that link in the live chat right now for you guys, and I won't move so I touch my cord and it cut out there. My bad. Rumble only. Give you guys 10 more seconds. Get over there. Christ. All right. Good there? Yeah, I'll try to stand really still this time. So, no more YouTube, no more Facebook, Rumble only here. Get over there right now.